Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Skyblaze, and this is the Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. Yeah, I've been away for a while. I've been a bit busy. Attending conventions and friends' birthday parties and various other bits and pieces. But yeah, I'll be here for a few weeks until, well, probably until our wedding anniversary. On the weekend of the 4th of May. Because we are colossal nerds. But about today's topic, so after the Game Gear and the Nomad, we did not see another handheld console from Sega, unless you count the VMU, which I don't. It was more of an accessory than a solo console. So we had to be content with the games that they released on other handhelds, following their retreat from the console market. Hello Electric Boogaloo and hello Dan! If anyone else is in the chat, give me a shout and I will mention your name on the air. So the ones that I'm going to be talking about today are all from the PlayStation Vita, a handheld console which, while more powerful than its predecessor, the PlayStation Portable or PSP, it didn't last for as long. We acquired one relatively recently, and promptly soft-modded it. I resisted getting one for ages because the memory sticks for them became like incredibly expensive. But turns out that nerds are nerds, and there's now like little adapters you can get, so you can use standard micro SD cards in them, which is great. Yeah, there was the Sega version as well, but I don't know if it really counts. Because it's not really... well, I'll get into the Sega version another time. Dan's asking about SonicCon UK. I don't know. The only two cons I was definitely wanting to do this year were KokoroCon, which was the other weekend, and KitCon, which is in August. October. I don't know. I'll think about it, if tickets are still available by the time I've decided. Anyway, the first game I am going to cover here is Chain Chronicle V, and that is V as in Vita, not as in 5, I checked. It's an interesting blend of RPG, tower defense, and card trading. Oh dear, that means Greyfall's going to want to play it, doesn't it? Developed and published by Sega in 2013 for iOS and Android, the Vita version released a year later. Although all versions were released, you guessed it, only in Japan. Because, of course. The story takes place on the once peaceful continent of Idra, where a group known as the Black Army appears and starts to conquer the various lands. Well, whilst fighting back against these invaders, the Holy King, the ruler of Idra, is slain by the mysterious Black King. This is starting to sound like a chess match. And it falls to a lone man to step up and oppose the Black King and his army. This is our protagonist, who is a swordsman named Yuri. Don't saying I have a Vita, but I don't remember playing a Sega or Atlus game on it. There were quite a few. I was really surprised by how long the list is, actually. Don's also saying it was the Falcom and Vanillaware machine for me. That's entirely fair. I think after I've finished... I'm redoing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at the moment, because I've got a Switch controller to review. And it's actually a really good, because it uses all of the buttons in various ways. So it's actually a very good controller for testing. But after I've done that, I'm probably going to play that copy of one of the Tales games you gave me. So I'll get started on that. I think that's going to be my next one. At least until Dawn Trail Final Fantasy XIV comes out. Moving on. So let's have some music then, shall we? I couldn't figure out which version of Chain Chronicle the version that's on the file store is. But it's from a Chain Chronicle game, so I'm going to play it anyway. So from Chain Chronicle we have March of the Braves 2, the Chain Band version. And then from a certain Magical Virtual On, Transition 2018, pressed by Electric Boogaloo. Enjoy! we are back, and that was a certain Magical Virtual On Transition 2018, requested by Electric Boogaloo. And before that we had from Chain Chronicle March of the Braves 2, the chain band version. We're talking about the Vita in the Discord chat. I think the version I've got is a 1000 model? Yeah, PCH 1003, so yeah, it's a 1000 model. I was going to take a picture of it, but for some reason it's quite dark in here, so it's not focusing properly. But let's move on, shall we? So, as I mentioned about Train Chronicle, the game is a combination of gameplay styles, and I'm going to talk about each one of them in turn. The game has your array of typical RPG elements, letting you make decisions which affect aspects of the story. You can visit towns to expand on the lore of the world and participate in events. Travelling between towns and other areas is where the combat kicks in, and that often comes in the form of a tower defense game. While the playing field looks to be laid out like a typical turn-based combat game, it is actually a clever disguise. The right side of the screen has a 3x3 grid in which your party are positioned, and from the right will come waves of enemies. You can then use the Vita's touchscreen to drag your chosen fighter and direct them towards the enemy that you want them to beat up. So long as you can prevent them from reaching the far right side of the screen, you will win. Should the enemy make it over there, however, it will be a game over for you. The card trading aspect is unfortunately little more than a gacha mechanic, as the fights you win reward you with currency, which can then be used to roll for new cards, which in turn are used to summon new fighters to join you in the fight against the Black Army. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing that the card mechanic's kind of a bit of an afterthought. Not quite as annoying as the gacha mechanic in Xenoblade 2, but at least you don't have to pay money for either of them. Gacha games get right up my nose. They really bug me, because they're just kind of rubbish. They're just kind of Skinner boxes. Electric Boogaloo was saying, I still prefer the PSP 3000 myself, to be honest. That's a really nice one, actually, the blue, the kind of metallic blue one. We've got 3 PSPs, we've got?
Yes.
But only 2 of them work. Yeah. I think only one of them's actually got a working battery at the moment. The batteries turned into spicy pillows, so we had to dispose of them. And I think we've only got a replacement battery for one of them. No one's saying they agree with my assessment of gacha games and Xenoblade 2. Yeah, I really love the story for Xenoblade 2, and some of the characters were actually really interesting. But hiding character stories behind gacha mechanics, and, you know, blocking off certain areas unless you'd pulled and leveled up certain characters was just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Viper saying I just bought my 7th DS. 7th. That's a lot of DS's.
What have you done with the other 6?
Are you just collecting them? Are they just like different versions of the DS, or do you keep breaking them? Are you doing a Grade 4 and breaking them, or are you just like enjoying collecting different types? These are important questions. Let's have some more music then. So, another one from Chain Chronicle, and this one is called 3 Hearts. And it's a bit J-poppy, and I know some of you strange people in the chat will enjoy that sort of thing. So I'll put that one in there. That's in there for you. Please enjoy. And I actually had like loads of requests today, which was really nice. More of that, please. So from Sakasuku Pro Soccer Club. No, I'm not going to try and pronounce the last bit. The track is called Player Edit, and it was requested by Nicola Saman. And this is apparently one that Jun Senaway worked on. Not one of his more well-known soundtracks. Okay, let's listen to that, and then we can talk a bit more about handheld consoles and the games that are on them. So enjoy!
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. This is Nicolas Aman, the demon ruler of the Radio Sega playlist, and you're listening to The Hidden Palace.
That was Sakasuku Pro Soccer Club. Player edit, requested by Nicholas Haman, our demon ruler of the Radio Sega playlist. And before that we had from Chain Chronicle 3 Hearts. The Discord is still mostly talking about handheld game consoles, mostly old Game Boys, because Nintendo had a lock on that market for so long. We have quite a lot of portable consoles kicking around. I've got even more of them. Well, it's not really a console. It's not really a console, it's a portable PC. I've got a Steam Deck. Which I didn't buy it, I was given it by work. My job is great. The first portable console I had was the original Game Boy. Which I was given for Christmas. That must have been like 91, I think. And I played with that quite a bit. I think I took it on holiday with us, and then my dad discovered Tetris, and then it was mysteriously unavailable to me after that. It's funny that, isn't it? Steam Deck mentioned. Yeah, I also had a INAO Slide, which is a really cool Steam Deck rival, which actually has an integrated keyboard. You slide up the screen and there's a keyboard under it. That is currently on long-term loan to Multiclass Geek, my friend Misha down in London, who is actually using it as a desktop replacement. It's wild. Anyway, moving on to what I should actually be talking about. Next up, we have Phantasy Star Nova, developed by Tri-Ace and published by Sega in 2014. I know the name Tri-Ace from somewhere, and I can't remember where it is. Where do I know Tri-Ace from, Mog? Look it up for me. I'm busy.
One of the other games we've got.
Yes, obviously. This game has the capability of 4-person multiplayer through ad hoc Wi-Fi play. What this means for those who don't know is that you can play with your friends by connecting to their Vita consoles directly through a Wi-Fi connection, rather than everyone being connected to the same single Wi-Fi source. Oh, Star Ocean, of course it is.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Thank you, Electric Boogaloo. Of course it's Star Ocean. Ex-Telenet Japan folk. Yes! Which I think I covered in a previous episode? Probably. Anyway. Our story of Phantasy Star Nova... I'm gonna loop my talkbed. Sees you playing as a new recruit of the ARC's Special Planetary Exploration Group. ARC's Special Planetary Exploration Group Alta. Okay. However, on your first mission, your ship crash lands on a planet called Machia, which has an odd effect on your main source of power, photons, rendering the ship and all of your tech functionally useless. Thankfully, though, the planet has an alternative form of energy that you can learn to harvest called Gran, which works just as well, as the denizens of the planet are huge, monstrous creatures called Gigantes, and soon make their presence known, and they are not hugely fond of you. Mostly they want to kill you in the face. Not only that, but you also come across the main enemy from Phantasy Star Online 2. That's the Dark Falls, I believe. I was so disappointed with Phantasy Star 2 Online 2. Because I really loved Phantasy Star Online 1, and then I got to play the second one and was like, this is a bit meh. Oh well. Combat is pretty much your typical action RPG, although special attacks or extra damage only really occur when you're pressing the attack button at the exact right time. The missions you undertake are selected from your base, and then you are loaded into the area, so very similar to the way that Phantasy Star Online 2 works. Those of you who have played games like Monster Hunter will be very familiar with this playstyle. Yeah, it's not my favourite, but it is what it is. Let's have some more music then. So, from... Viper saying I always felt like I was the wrong audience for PSO2. Yeah. There's just... It seems like it's trying to do too many things at once. And also the onboarding process for new players is horrendously terrible. moving on. Oh god, several people are typing. Oh no! Let's put some music on before things occur and people tell me how wrong I am. Right, Fantasy Star Nova, we have the main theme, and then from Utakumi575, we have the options theme, which was requested by Green Viper 8. Enjoy, and I'll be back after this to talk about an Atlus game. And we are back, and that cut off really abruptly. Nick Command, Utakumi 575, the options menu theme, has a really abrupt cut off. I don't know, maybe, I think that needs like a fade out or a loop or something, but yeah, that cut is really abrupt. So, our last game for today is actually an Atlus game. And that being Lost Dimension, not one of the commonly known ones. This is actually one that I would quite like to play on the Vita. I can't... Did this come out in English?
I believe so.
Because that might be quite nice to play. Viper saying I pulled that from my copy and thought it did loop. Whoops. These things happen. It's okay. Where was I? Yes. This game was developed by Lancas and was published in North America by Atlus. And this game combines tactical RPG elements with a visual novel. So you play as Sho Kasugai, a member of the SEALED, I'm going to call them SEALed from now on, who are a group of psychics formed by the United Nations, okay then, who have been tasked to investigate a giant pillar which has appeared out of nowhere. The antagonist for the story is called The End, which is a suitably dramatic title, and Sho, along with the other 10 members of SEALed, are ordered by the UN to enter the pillar and kill him. Sadly though, The End has other plans and manipulates the memories of all the other SEALed members, leaving them with little knowledge of how they got there, nor of their pasts. The End then reveals that there are traitors amongst the group, and the top of each floor, they have to then choose to erase the one that they think is the traitor. Once they reach the top floor, the remaining members must then fight The End. When deciding who to eliminate, Sho has the ability of Vision, which lets him see the future of one of the remaining members of his party to try and determine who the traitors are. As you complete missions, you can also build up your bonds with your teammates. So far, so Persona-ish. Not that this is a bad thing. So it's a really interesting concept. Strongly reminds me of Persona 3. Yeah, it's one of those I'd quite like to play. Darren's saying, warning, Legend of Heroes games are fairly long for even for JRPGs, and there are many of them. Yeah, I've seen the list of them. I was like, there's a lot of these. So I'm kind of glad you just gave me one, so it gives me a starting point. I don't have to agonise over which one I'm going to start with. Speaking of Phantasy Star Online 2, Pocket Larry is saying it's best to stick with one of the many versions of the original Phantasy Star Online with the custom servers available. Yeah, I need to actually configure a Dream Pie at some point. One of those things, I'll get around to it. I'll probably do that at the same time I do my custom Dreamcast with the transparent shell, which I've spoken about before. Feel free to ask me about it though if you're interested. I'm quite happy to hold forth on the subject. But first of all, let's have some more music. So from Lost Dimension, we have the boss theme. The music in Lost Dimensions, actually, there's some bangers in there. It's actually really good stuff. And then after that, we have from Super Monkey Ball, Banana Splits, Night Island, requested by Green Viper 8 again. So please enjoy these, and I will speak to you after this music break to talk a bit more about Lost Dimension.
You're listening to The Hidden Palace with the wonderful Skyblaze only on Radio Sega. Well, I guess if you're here, it's not that well hidden, is it?
And we are back. And that was Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits Night Island, requested by Green Viper 8. And before that we had from Lost Dimension the boss theme. I posted a picture of Morgana from Persona 5 doing like some breakdancing. And he's just like spinning in a circle. Doan's saying that they're completely hypnotized by spinny Morgana. Oh dear. So, back to Lost Dimension then. Combat is much akin to games like Valkyria Chronicles, as each member has their own movement limit, as well as unique psychic abilities called gifts. And there are a number of combat abilities which can help them turn the tide of battle. First is the assist feature, which lets you help a nearby ally when attacking. Next is the defer feature, which lets an ally pass up their turn to an ally instead. And lastly, we have the berserk feature. Overuse of a player's gift can result in them going berserk. This causes their attacks to become more powerful at the cost of them attacking anything and everything, including their allies. Lost Dimension has multiple possible endings, and they are tied into whether or not you've managed to root out all of the traitors. If Show somehow gets erased, then it's an instant game over, and the same thing can happen if you manage to reach the end without remaining members of your party being all traitors. If you reach the end with some people who aren't traitors, then you and they face off against anyone remaining who is a traitor, then against the end. However, even beating the end isn't actually the end. Could it have killed them to name this guy anything else? Come on now. Once you've beaten the game once, you can then play through a new game plus to maximise those bonds and unlock the true ending. As I was saying earlier, I have a really long game backlog, so it kind of vaguely annoys me that when true endings are locked behind multiple playthroughs. RPGs are long, and I have a lot of games to play. Electrical is saying the Berserk feature. Copy of the old arcade game Berserk. That's the one with the evil smiley face, isn't it? Evil Otto. There was a rumour about him being, like, cursed and killing people who played Berserk for a while. You know, like, silly stuff like the Polybius rumour. Doan's saying, I'm confused by this game and just want a normal game. Yeah, I feel you. Let's have some more music then, shall we? Before we head off into the chiptune corner. So another track from Lost Dimension, and it's another banger. This is in fact the main theme from Lost Dimension. And then after that we have from Virtua Tennis 4, Stage Music 1, requested by Electric Boogaloo. So enjoy that, and I'll be back after this to head into the chiptune corner. And we are back, and that was Virtua Tennis 4 Stage Music 1, requested by Electric Boogaloo. Another one that had a kind of surprisingly sharp cut-off at the end. Yeah, so nothing's perfect. And before that we had, from Lost Dimension again, the main theme. There are some bangers in that soundtrack. It's on the request list for the Radio Sega database, so feel free to check it out. I highly recommend. So now, into the chiptune corner. Because I'm running out of time, and I might overrun, and then everyone gets to mock me because I regularly torment Rexy about this. UK-based musician and self-confessed Atari ST obsessive Neil Dilworth is better known to chiptune fans as Nasty Naught. I encountered this artist on a chiptune-related Facebook group and decided that, since it was Bandcamp Friday, I'd throw a few quid in his direction. Not only did I get some chiptune tracks, but also a whole bunch of stickers, a USB stick, and one of those little pom-pom guys with the googly eyes, who is now with the little ribbon and who is now sat on top of my monitor, judging me. So yeah, you should check out his Bandcamp, which I will put into the Discord server momentarily. There we go. Very vaporwave aesthetic, very kind of late 80s neon vaporwave stuff going on there. But he also does music on cassette for a really authentic retro experience if you want to go the whole hog. So, from Nasty Knot we have Barnolf. A lot of their tracks are really long. I picked one of their shorter ones, but I hope you enjoy this, and if you did, please check out their Bandcamp and maybe pay him for some of his music. And we are back, and that was Nasty Note with Barnulf. As I said, please check out their Bandcamp if you were interested in their style. So thank you so much for everyone for tuning in today. Coming up next, we should have Gavi and SNS, although he's a bit late in setting up, so there might be some short downtime, but you'll get to enjoy the 24/7 in the meantime. Tomorrow there should be the LMC block and Rexy's Sega Mixer Drive, so be sure to tune in to those. The full schedule is on radiosega.net as usual. Next weekend, Rexy and I are going to be swapping slots because Rexy is due to go on holiday. So they will be in my usual slot, and I'll be in theirs. So I'll be broadcasting on Sunday, and they will be here in my slot on Saturday. Rassy saying thank you for requesting that Virtua Tennis 4 track, and thanks Skyblaze for playing it. It was brilliant to listen to while I was away from my PC. You're welcome, Raph. So, I can't remember. I think I do have a script for next week, but I can't remember what it is. Ah dear, it's been a week. Let me tell you. So I've been Skyblaze, and this has been the Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. I've got one last track to go out on, so you can tell which game has been eating my brain this week while I've been replaying it. Because we've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Tactical Action. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Enjoyed the show? Check out the full Radio Sega live schedule at radiose.ga/shows. Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.